evidences of snow leopard movement, their signs and tracks, and of course their droppings also.
Dr. S.S. Samant of G.B. Pant Institute of Himalayan Environment and Development was of the same view, that the protected area status had led to growth and further distribution of plants.
I am working on inventory of angiosperms, gymnosperms and pteridophytes. I am also doing some ecological work. Particularly, I have surveyed this Abies spectrabilis forest and Betula utilis forest to know the future status of these forests. And I am also observing different habitats of each plants, their population size and distribution range to know the status of these plants. I have found good growth of many plants like Dactyloiza hatageria, locally known as hattajari, and this plant roots of this plant are medicinal, and local people exploit it badly, but due to production it has very good population here.
The team had been collecting garbage left by previous expeditions all along the way. At Sarson Patal, an army chopper came in to airlift some of the garbage. Food supplies and other essentials were also replenished. The leader of the scientific team, Captain Ashwin Bendur, had a number of observations.
There have been almost 60 to 70 expeditions per year in the various parts of this sanctuary, and there have been expeditions for a number of years. So the quantity of garbage is large, and though a large amount of it would have decomposed, some of it would no longer be available, it would have got buried or washed away, but those which are on the surface are pollutants and they can also harm the environment. I will give an example. In certain places, bears have been known to eat plastic bags, and they have been known to have then internal problems and even die of it.
At Sarson Patal, a memorial plaque was found. This was engraved by a paratroopers expedition to commemorate all those who had died in previous expeditions. It was an irony of fate that they lost 5 of their own summiters on their way down from the summit. Yet another story brought alive Nanda Devi Unsold, a young American girl. Her mountaineer father, William Unsold, was sold on the peak and named his daughter after it. This did not appease the Devi. During an expedition to the summit, the goddess snatched away her namesake forever. Another tombstone at base camp commemorated Ben Bethe, who also died during an expedition. After 13 days of strenuous march, the advance party reached the site of the base camp on the 15th of May. At an altitude of 4,780 meters, base camp was like a bowl situated on the South Nanda Devi Glacier. The feeling one got was that of having stumbled into the freezer of someone's fridge. Even the tents were pitched on the frozen glacier. History was created with the making of the first ever helipad at the Nanda Devi base camp on 16th of May. The task was a very formidable one, but the enthusiastic members completed the job even without proper equipment.
So today you see where we are standing. This area was completely something like lake, glacial lake without water. Now we have a good site, we have helipad and we have a camp here. So area is completely changed now because of the glacier movement. Route of the Camp 1 we used to take from the start of ridge, but now it is not possible because as the glacier has changed, the ridge has come down. So we have to take a new route.
After 15 days of approach march to this mountain, Nanda Devi, which itself was an expedition, today finally we started on the main mountain. Early morning weather was very good, so we went up, and initially we had a problem because the route was undefined, and the earlier routes which were there have been washed away by the rock falls. So we took about an hour plus to go up to first ledge, and thereafter we met vertical rock after about 2 hours, where we fixed 3 ropes total.
On the 18th of May, the army chopper landed at the base camp to collect the garbage. Along with it also came the mail, transporting the lucky ones into their own private worlds for a short while.
The height is 16,500. We are into a bowl. The winds can be very tricky. We have to calculate each and every kg of weight. The aircraft is the max of its power. And there's no real power here. You see the slope of this. It's not a prepared landing ground. We have to come to hover and then deliver things.
The main party of the expedition also arrived to join the advance party at base camp on the 18th itself. After this, all activities were coordinated and geared up for the departure to the next camp. Loads were arranged and checked to avoid any confusion. Three days later, the leader arrived at the base camp after establishing all 3 ecology camps on the way. The advance party had now begun its ascent to Camp 1. The initial part of the climb was in a rockfall area and was therefore very perilous. Snowfall made the trek progressively difficult. Icicles that had formed during the night would melt in the day and would fall on the climbers like daggers. Another problem that could be faced in this area was that of snow blindness. Snow goggles were essential while climbing these large snow expanses. Base camp became the hub of activity. Solar panels installed there were used for charging radio batteries, as well as those of the camera equipment.
You can see I am charging all type of batteries, and communication is a vital importance. And instead of carrying a generator and petrol which cannot be carried by chopper even, it's better that you use these such panels. And for lighting also you can use the same thing.
One of the objectives of the expedition was to clear the domain of the Devi and restore its divine purity. Old campsites were dug up by all the members, and large amounts of garbage were packed into polythene bags. The Ministry of Environment and Forest provided its helicopter to bring back garbage too. The helicopter brought with it some very sad news for S.K. Bhagat, the radio operator. His wife, who had been expecting their first baby, had died. He was sent back immediately by the same helicopter. Ajay Rastogi, a scientist from World Wildlife Fund India, conducted some experiments at base camp.
I was suggested by the leader of the expedition that we do some environmental monitoring related work. Now, environmental monitoring related work, we thought water quality testing we can carry out at various stages, all the way starting from the roadhead to the glacier where the river has originated. And this will give us some very interesting idea of how does the nature of river changes in a pristine ecosystem. My findings would be very useful for comparing other areas where there are likely sources of disturbances.
Meanwhile, the route for Camp 2 was opened and members started ferrying loads. All members participated equally in this responsibility because from here onwards, there were no porters to carry load. Steep rock faces made the route tricky, and other than physical strength, technical climbing skill was also required. It would be a misnomer to call Camp 2 a camp. A narrow ledge, under a small rock overhang, was all the space that it offered. 1/3 of the tent hung outside the ledge and had to be secured firmly with ropes to prevent it from being blown off. For even the most experienced of mountaineers, this was not an easy phase. The help of ropes was required for even normal activities like nature's call, for fear of being swept off the mountainside. Wind velocity varied from 60 to 80 kilometers per hour. From Camp 2 to Camp 4, the route snaked along a snow ridge. A fixed rope was required along the entire route now. An unmistakable air of tension and expectancy prevailed among the team members. Their previous experience and training camps were being put to full test at this stage. Some of the technical equipment used for climbing include the Jumar and the Carabiner. The Carabiner is like a clasp which is locked onto the rope that is tied between pitons. In case a climber slips, he cannot fall off the rope and will only slide down to the next piton, by which time he tries to find a foothold. The Jumar, or the ascender, is also used on fixed ropes. This device hooks onto the rope and, as the name suggests, has only upward movement. It is secured on the seat harness of the climber. On long stretches of rope, if the climber is tired, he can free his hands and relax his legs without the fear of falling. At this stage of the climb, the ropes are like umbilical cords for the climbers, whose lives are attached to the mountains in more ways than one.
At that time, the weather was very bad. It was total whiteout, and snowflakes were also falling. So we were, both of us, myself and Didar, we were tired. So we took a decision that we'll shed the load there only, since the weather was turning bad and we had to go down again about 1 hour journey. At that same time, when I was just taking out my rucksack to shed my load, I started feeling some sort of insect inside my back. So since it was around 22 to 22,500 feet, so I thought that there might not be any insect. So then Bhatt suggested that it might be some sort of snow which has gone inside, since it was blizzard condition, and that snow must be melting. So I tried to just shake my body, but then the intensity increased, and it started going down my spine towards my buttocks, towards my legs. So then Thind realized that it must be the Alma's fire, that is the electricity which is in the clouds. So that was as soon as we realized, and we were in a panic. We just put that all the load in the carabiner, वहाँ पर anchor किया उसको, and straight away we started off.
On the 31st of May, Nanda Devi decided to put her votaries through the final test of endurance. It was this that would make or break them. A blizzard arose in all its fury, like an angry demon who had been woken out of deep slumber. It raged, it shouted, it stomped, but it couldn't break the spirit of the team, even though all activity did come to a standstill and communication links with base camp was snapped due to high-velocity winds. Some members of the team came back to base camp to recoup their strength while the weather calmed down.
Frankly, the route is not very difficult, but because of altitude, the problems are coming.
And wind.
Bad weather
And
wind.
third camp onwards, every day, evening wind blows maybe 100 plus. Like rainy to Dodi, we used to hear Rishiganga. There it's wind, full blast. The 110 got blown off totally. Out of 4-5 nights we spent there, 2 nights we not slept at all. First night mein to we were 5 of us inside, crammed with snow also.
GK was administered saline as part of the medical fitness operations. Two helipads, leveled earlier by the team members, were by now submerged under the water of the glacier lake. But this did not deter them from making a third one. In the meantime, Captain Anand Swaroop, Captain Jasbir Singh Thind, and Sherpa Kusang had opened the route and established Camp 4 at an altitude of 6,970 meters. This was the last camp before the summit. The sappers wanted to give every member of the expedition a fair chance to share the glory by providing an equal opportunity to reach the summit. On the 7th of June, 4 summit parties were announced.
The first attempt likely, which is to be made on 11th June, will be headed by Deputy Leader Amin Naik. Number 2, GK Sharma. Number 3, Anand Swaroop. Number 4, Vinay Gupta. Number 5, Didar Singh. Number 6, SP Bhatt. In case the second sub-team, which will attempt on 13th June, will be as follows. Headed by Jasbir Singh Thind, BV Naresh, Bodh Singh, Kulwant Singh, Jaswant Singh, and Sherpa Thindup. Number 3 sub-team will be headed by me, along with Sudhanshu Kamboj, RK Bharadwaj, Jaswant Singh, Kushan, and Rajpal. The final team, which will attempt, headed by Maharana, with Satish Bagotra, Sukhinder Singh, Suresh Chandra, Joseph, Landy, Pemba, and Bolacity. I will now call upon our veteran mountaineer, GK Sharma, who has done tremendous amount of mountaineering and brought a good name to the corps, to take the flag and the picket for the summit team. GK, I congratulate you for this honor, and I hope you are able to keep up the name of the expedition.
We will keep up the flag.
And this is the picket which you are supposed to anchor it on the summit.
On the summit, right.
The deputy leader, who has been the sheet anchor of this expedition in leading, opening routes and also fixing ropes all along, has the honor of putting the balance of the flags which have been presented by various formations and units in the summit with the first summit party. Congratulations. I also hand over you a dead boy marked with the name of the expedition to be kept at the summit.
Thank you, thank you.
नंदा देवी की हम सब एक हैं, हम सब एक हैं, हम सब एक हैं.
The first party, consisting of Major Amin Nayak, Captain Vinay Gupta, Captain Anand Swarup, G.K. Sharma, Nayak S.P. Bhatt, and Lance Nayak Didar Singh, left the base camp the very next day. Camp 4 was not easy to reach, but then the team had been chosen with care, and for them, the sky was the limit. The party left Camp 4 in the wee hours of the morning. There was a hope in everyone's eyes and a prayer in all their hearts. Surely the Devi would not turn them away from the threshold. But unfortunately, for Captain Vinay Gupta, this was to be. One of the most enthusiastic members of the team, due to physical indisposition, at the last moment, he was unable to go beyond Camp 4.
I was fully ready, completely with full gear and all. Suddenly, I felt like vomiting and all. And that time, Nayak told me to hold on, and I had to stop. I really felt bad. I missed the chance.
The summit party reached the site of Camp 5 at 7:30 in the morning. This had been established at 7,200 meters by a previous American expedition. The weather conditions looked promising, but physical energy was at a low ebb. None of the members were using oxygen, even at this altitude. At base camp, the atmosphere was tense. There had been no communication link with the summit party for almost 10 hours. Weather conditions started deteriorating at base camp, and pulses started racing. All of a sudden, the radio crackled alive.
Congratulations, thank you.
हमारी तो यार जान निकल गई थी. Excellent, well done. The time now is 5:10. 1710 hours. Over.
By 6 p.m. the same day, G.K. Sharma had fulfilled his New Year resolution. Nayak S.P. Bhatt and Lance Nayak Didar Singh followed. Captain Anand Swarup was not to be left behind. Despite severe chilblains on his feet, he limped up to glory. It was now around 6:30 p.m. For Major Nayak, the deputy leader of the team, there was only one concern, that of a safe return. Now that their goal had been achieved, there was a strong yearning for the warmth and comfort of normal life. The team descended in total darkness. By 11 at night, they had all reached Camp 4 safely.
Suddenly I saw a huge snow patch, like a football field, welcoming us. And that was the summit. And summit, I just had no words to say. I just kept quiet and kneeled down. That is all I can say about this summit.
And climbing Nanda Devi like a vertical mountain, it was just a different experience. And while we are descending down, you wondered how we have climbed it up.
It was a nightmare coming from the rope, fixed rope in the dark, pitch dark night. We were falling, tripping, jumping, you just name it and it was happening. I just don't know how. I can only say that we have been very, and once again very lucky that none of us got hurt.
They were totally exhausted, but their spirits soared much, much higher than the summit of the Nanda Devi.